Hello everybody, welcome back to Push and Paint. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for liking the videos and subscribing. Thank you to everyone who leaves a comment and lets me know what they think or lets me know what they want to see. I know I teased it in one of the videos, I guess. I had put something about doing a sunset tutorial, so because we kind of skipped over a few, and it's been a while since I've really shown the process of creating a sunset sky with clouds and things like that, the different layers we're working on. So that's what we're going to work on today. We are going to do a nice sunset sky, and then from there, once we get the sky done, we'll see what else we can come up with. We'll get the sky put in, and then we'll work on the rest of the painting. So we'll start with the sky, and that's kind of the main area that I'm going to focus on for the video, and then we'll just fast forward through the rest for the rest of the painting. But anyway, so grab your brushes, grab your paints, and grab your canvas, and we'll show you how to do a nice pretty sunset sky. Let's push some paint. For the basics of our sunset sky, what we've got here, we've got white and linseed oil. Just a little bit of linseed oil. Now that just kind of brightens our canvas, and it'll make all those colors kind of pop and more bright, and it greases up our canvas just a little bit. Okay, so we're putting a really thin coat of that on there. You'll be able to see your canvas will be just a bit shiny. Okay, so then you can use that same brush, and we're going to start out with our blue just for the top. Maybe even a little bit of purple, and we just put that in there. This is for the very top of our sky, and we put those cross strokes in like so, and we're going to come through and blend this all out later. But we don't want, I mean, it's not like acrylic paint where you just blip and you swipe it across. You're pushing the paint onto the canvas, and then you blend it around later. We're going to use a clean, dry brush. You can blend it out a bit if you want, but that's just our top color here. And we're not putting too much paint on the canvas. Here, I just want a bit more blue up top. If you get too much paint on your brush, wipe it on a shop towel like so. Come back, blend that in. Use those big cross strokes like that. And that's just our top blue where that sky comes up and starts to turn to really night. You know, we might even darken that up just a little bit. All we do is take a bit of a darker blue and do a few swipes. That's a big swipe here, see? But what I do, if I put too much paint on there, just like that, I just blend it out. And you see how that spot with too much paint now turns into a nice blended deep blue, okay? Same brush. We're going to switch over into our red color. Just grab that crimson. We're going to switch brushes up here in a minute. And just sort of getting this purple established. Let's see, we're nice and dusky there. But I don't want to bring that blue too far down, because I don't want it to mix with our yellow at all, because then you get a green color in the sky. We don't want that. So we're going to switch out brushes. We're going to go with a bit lighter one. Just a bit of the red. It's very strong. You see how strong that is. So let's just put that in there. That's our red layer. Alright? We'll weaken that down a bit. We just tap it on the palette. And we just, same thing, we're cross stroking this back and forth like so. Okay. And then we can draw that up just a bit. And we'll blend that all with our brush. We'll go from here up. Okay. So now we go back and get the the yellow. And there's no blue in this brush. We can do a bit of the white with that. And that will brighten that up too. Make it more of a pink and a peach. Okay, and then we get down to the bottom and we go with the really bright yellow, and we're going all the way down. Yeah, I've still got red in my brush. I might have to come fix that, but we'll get there. We just go up. Remember, we don't touch that blue. Just barely edging towards the purple. Come down here. Our sunset will be way down here. So if that brush is too messed up, we switch it out. And I'm out of yellow paint. So what I want to do, the very bottom here, is just a mix of lemon yellow, or cadmium yellow in this case, and white. So I'm going to take my palette knife and just put a bit of those two together, and I get this real bright yellow color. Mix that together on the canvas. Okay, that's going to be this last strip down here. Get a bit of that on there. Boom. Maybe a bit more on the white. There we go. And you use a lot of these big brushes here in the beginning stages of this painting. You use these big 2-inch brushes. And that's okay. And you clean them, and you move on to stage 2, which will be clouds. But I'm going to bring this all the way down. This whole focus is going to be sunset. We're going to have little bits of stuff down here that I might mess with, but for the most part, the whole point of this is just to emphasize on this beautiful spanning sunset. Okay, so now we got all that on there. We take our clean, dry, almost clean, beat it up a little bit. Okay, take the brush against your easel, beat it up a little bit, just like that. I was holding up to the microphone. That's how good I am at this. So clean and dry, right? And we're gonna start up here, or down here, I'm sorry, and we're just gonna just like that. Okay, now the fun part comes next. We're gonna work on some clouds. Okay, and the clouds are going to start off darker because there's less light up here, and then we're gonna get this brighter pink clouds with lots of little gold highlights because they're catching that last bit of sunlight towards the end of the day. So we'll come back and we'll do that. Okay, so what I've got on my palette, see if we can see that, is a mix of purples all the way to a lavender, and this is going to be our top layer of clouds. It's going to be real up close. So we're going to push those in here. It's almost a gray in some spots, but it's that heavy duty purple color. Okay, and we're just kind of pushing this in there. We're going to put some close-up clouds here. These are our real close to our viewpoint guys, like we had in that one painting here with the flower meadow. Okay, now we're just sort of putting these in there. And then we'll lighten a few spots up. A little bit there. I'm not being too careful. I'm just kind of rolling with it. Seeing as we bring this down into our red, it sort of picks up the colors underneath it. Now what we do is we take our lighter color and we sort of touch the bottom edges there, and we'll blend that out. And when we do, we end up with our clouds with highlights. And this kind of gives our defined spaces to our clouds, and we're going to blend this all together. You'll see. Get that brush hair out of there. This just shows where our light is coming in. Okay, so those look kind of messy right now, just kind of all over the place. Okay, there. Then we take one of our really soft, bristled blending brushes, and we just sweep up. And we circle and we sweep. Okay, and that just kind of moves it all together, softens everything. And we end up with a bit different. Okay. And if we want to blend them a bit more, we just press a bit harder. And what we'll do, we'll come through and we'll maybe throw some more highlights on those and accent them a little bit. We're going to start to draw our clouds back. You see, I'm just kind of putting those in there. And you can do this with a fan brush too. A fan brush works really well. This is just a filbert, kind of a stunted filbert. It's a little beat up, but I like that. But we're going to start to make sure that's going to get blended. There we go. I'll just touch the top with this light blue color. Almost the white in there. I know that is white, but when you blend it down, it'll become part of the pink. Maybe just swipe it just a little bit, just barely. See? And we barely see these guys as they get too close to the sun. You see, they just kind of blend out like that. Make them a bit more intense further up here. Trail out a bit here, make some weird ones. for a bit of that heavy crimson. Alright, we'll put some low lights and shadows in these clouds, as much shadow as there can be. Like that. And when we blend those out, those shadows will show up. You just puff a few little spots in there. And then we come down here with what's left on our brush. See how we're sort of working in sequence here, so we can work our way down. Smaller brush here, we're getting into some small stuff. I want to put my sun right there. You know, we do that, we just sort of twist it around in a circle, and it blends with that yellow, it blends with the orange, but it keeps the strength of that titanium white, and we get a pretty solid sun. Okay, we take that same white and yellow and orangey mix, and we're gonna tap some highlights into here. Just to accent the bottoms of these clouds that are so far away, and give them a bit of character, because they barely show up. They're there, but we want them to stand out a little bit. We get a bit more yellow up top, a bit more just right there, just little bits, a little bit more. All this does is just highlights that sunlight poking through. Isn't that pretty? So, you see the basics of our sunset. You can get the gist of it. So I'm going to keep refining this a little bit more. Keep working with yours. Keep blending, keep mixing. You know, try not to make mud on the canvas, but add little bits of highlights here and there. Take your little brush, take your light colors, and when you get closer to the sun on the scene, you just add those little highlights. Okay? Keep working on it. We're going to come back and we'll throw in some distant stuff to make it a full painting. Okay. So we've got our background established. We've got our sunset coming down. Now the way we did these mountains here, we started out in the back and we just barely darkened our background color. Okay? And then we made our mountain peaks, and these are so far in the distance. We put very little paint on the brush. We just made the general outline, and then we just kind of drew that down to just blend that out into mist. Okay, and then we wanted to make a few closer ones, still far in the background. All you're seeing is the sort of sun-kissed kind of mountain peaks, you know, kind of thing. And we draw that down. Now what we're going to have down here is a very close rock face, cliff edge kind of deal that's going to go around here, with some bushes around here that are close up and some trees peeking over the edges, you know, different things like that. So it's going to take a lot of light mixture and things to try and do that, but what we're going to do first is we're just trying to establish our cliff line here. So we're just kind of sketching this in. Now this is, I know this is very drastic, but we're at that sunset peak, and we're going to put some highlights on here as well. So we're going to put these down here, and this is our nice cliff edge here coming down around this side. And we'll sort of fill in that area when we need to. I'm not quite sure what's going there yet, so but we're going to put that in there. Now, some nice angular edges here. Okay, we're going to come through and we're going to do some palette highlights. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this in here. Now this is a mix of crimson and blue and a tiny bit of black, but not much, and a little bit of the browns to warm it up, the burnt umber and raw sienna. And we're going to have some different things poking in and out of here. Again, this is just the basic base of it, the very simplest part of it right here. All we're doing is putting our edge in and our base shadow color. Okay, we're going to come through and so we're going to take our white and our yellow and our ochre and our red and our burnt umber, a little bit of that dark color here, and we don't want to mix that very much at all. And we just want to have a mess. Yeah, I guess you can probably see it on the palette. It'll help. See how messy that is. It's just a mix of colors. And we spread that out flat and thin. And then we scoop up a little roll. Now it's been a while since I've done this, so we'll see if I can still do it. And we just draw it down like so. Ooh, and I messed up there because my unsteady hands, but that's okay. You can always edit that out. You can use the smaller edge here and come down and there, since I put that in there, do this. Oh. Yeah. See, I don't want to soften this too much. I kind of want it to be rough, you know, so you gotta remember that when I'm coming through. I'm just gonna keep that nice and rough. Get a little roll of paint on the end of your palette knife. Draw it down, draw it across. Like so. How this really just catches that essence of that peach sunlight color, and then it sort of gives your rocks those textures that you want, you know. Just little bits here and there, not too crazy. We're going to come in and do some blue shadow textures as well in different spots. See if I can keep the light perspective going. A little bits like that. Like that. Little shadows here. See how that gives us our angles on these stones. It gives us all kinds of imagination. You say, oh, this is where this one dips down and goes a little, you know, a little underneath this guy. And this one creates a shadow over here, and you can't do that without your shadows and light, you know. You gotta have your areas of dark and your areas of light, and that way you can differentiate, and you know, you can see your shapes a little better. But we mix those together, we get them blended together, you know, it's just a lot of rocky chaos. Little dark spot right there. We come in and we'll add some more to it and see what we need to do here. I don't like that, such a delineated line. I'll mess that up just a little bit. There we go. Little bits of shadow here. Little bits of shadow here. See what that does for me. Okay, so what you can see here is we got our little treetops on the top there. We did lots of highlights and shadows on those rocks, really give it some character so that they catch the light, just a bit of character. It's really got those angles on the rocks. You see how I caught that light and then let the shadows play by themselves. You just leave those dark spots in there, that way you keep your shadow, you know, you can really differentiate your rock piles there. And we could add a few little more grasses and flowers and things like that on the top, and maybe we will, but I like it. So anyway, hopefully I'll come out with another one of these pretty quick. I know I've been slacking a bit. I've been trying to buy some land in the UP and took lots of pictures up there, and hopefully get some paintings of that stuff coming up pretty soon too. But thanks everyone for sticking with me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Be sure, if you're not already subscribed, to go ahead and click that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and thanks for watching everyone, and as always, keep on pushing paint around.